Hello everybody, in this video tutorial I'm going to show you how to create some chords on top of the bass lines that we created last week. If you're really new to music theory or you've maybe never used Ableton before, you might be wondering what a chord is. So all a chord is it's more than one note laid on top of each other, which creates harmony. And harmony is really important in music, as this is how we can play on emotion for the listener. So we're just going to start with just some basic building blocks and some tips and tricks for you to create and draw your own chords in on top of a bass line. I know people struggle with this quite a bit. In the previous video, I've also shown you how to use Scalar to create chord progressions. So this time we're going to look at a different viewpoint of drawing it in and not using that plugin. So last week we created this bass line. If you've created one similar to this, I'm just going to show you a little trick, because at the minute there's quite a bit of decay on the fretless bass. So we're just going to bring this decay down just so it makes it a bit tighter and sits on the sub. Sounds much better now, it's just adding a bit more high end to that sub. Okay, so I'm going to use these notes here as a building blocks to write the bass line. So if you press create, insert MIDI track, and this time we're going to just copy and paste this over into here. So if you hold Alt and drag this over, you'll see that all the MIDI notes are placed in here. First thing I want you to do is just change this from G minor blues just to G minor, so we can see all of the notes in the G minor scale. Now you can see here, this is the blues note, which isn't actually in C minor, but that's what makes that the blues scale. So if you can just bring these down to C, because we just don't want to, we're going to create a chord within G minor rather than add in the C sharp chord. So the next thing I want to do is I'm just going to listen to this melody and see how it sounds with a sound. So I'd looked before for a preset in here and found this organ retro harmonica. So I'm just going to drag this on here. Now it's a bit low pitch at the minute, so if you press Command A, and let's bring it up a few octaves. So if you press Command A, Shift, or if you're on Windows, Control, Shift and up. So what I'm going to do is just delete a few of these notes out. I'm not going to have it follow all of this. As I said before about resolving, now G is the root note of the scale. So I'm going to finish it on G because it'll just feel like this chord progression here that we're creating will finish on the G note. Now when you've got a melody that you're happy with, we're going to now turn these into chords, and we're going to use these as the root note of our chords. So if you come into Google and type in chords in G minor scale piano, and this website's really good, the Piano Keyboard Guide. It gives you all of the chords within that scale. Now there's two types of chords that we're going to create today. We're going to mainly use seventh chords. And what a seventh chord is it's a 4-note chord. So you can see here it's built out of 4 notes from this scale. The reason why I've told you to fold this scale is so you can see the specific notes within G minor. It makes it really easy to find these notes. And there's also triads, but we're going to use one triad because we're not going to use the F dominant 7th, as I feel it sounds a bit dissonant. We're just going to use the F major. So we're using a mixture of major and minor chords, and this kind of builds the tension and release and the balance off each other. So let's start with the G minor 7th first. So G, B flat, D and F, And then the next one, which is C minor 7th, so it's C, E flat, G, B flat. Now I'm going to fast forward this for you so you don't have to sit and watch me program all these in, but just use this as a premise to add all the chords in, and I'm going to show you the finished thing once I've completed this. So now we've built the chords here. I'll just press play. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to use the ADSR envelope just to shorten these chords. So let's bring this all the way down to 0 and you'll hear it be really clicky. Bring the decay up slowly. Bit of sustain. I just want to add a little bit of delay as well, so go to audio effects, and this slapback's really nice. Bring the dry wet down. And then we're just going to put a high pass filter on here. So now we've got this in as well, I'm going to show you another little trick. So these are jumping up quite fast. To play with these and make these sound a bit more advanced and change over time, we're going to duplicate these. Then we're going to use something called an inversion. So what an inversion means is we're not just using the root position of the chord, we're going to switch the notes so they're in a different position, which can make them sound more closed. So when it comes back to the root chord of the scale, the tonic, it'll resolve. So if we press shift on this and this will move down, you'll hear that these chords will sound a lot closer together. So press shift and down. It's not going to jump up as high. I'm going to leave them root notes in there just so a bit of variation from the ones before, because it just makes it sound different. I like how short and snappy these chords are. They're kind of very garage-like. You might even want to move them off so we're not fully on the beat. This is something we can automate over time to create movement in your track later on as well. So the best thing about this is now we've got room for melodies to fit in later videos. I'm also going to add some pads underneath to fill some space. I hope this helps you with your track creation. Again, if you create anything from this, please send over. I'd love to have a listen. Speak soon, everyone.